gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw together this cake. And if you've been watching me, been following me, you saw a cake that I made that had no name. It was a no name cake. Well, I called it the Hallelujah cake. That was the best cake. It has become my favorite cake, absolute favorite cake. And also the chocolate lava cake I reposted too, because if you're a chocolate lover, you're not gonna wanna miss that. Those are two cakes that I've made recently that I'm absolutely in love with. So I got to thinking that, you know, the Hallelujah cake, the no-name cake, had a butter pecan cake mix and you mix the coconut pecan frosting with it. And I thought, wouldn't it be good in a carrot cake, guys? I'm gonna try this. So we're gonna make this again. And you can do that. You can play around with these recipes. There's so much you can do with cake mixes. So I've got a super moist carrot cake. And I've had too much coffee. I'm shaking there. Coffee really does a number on me. Okay, and we're just gonna add that cake mix to the bowl. Just gonna use this as a little garbage can. And by the way, don't even look at the instructions on that box. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna add 1 cup of water. Now we're gonna add 3/4 cup of oil, and I am out of olive oil. I love to use olive oil when I'm baking cakes and things. I just feel like it's healthier, and it is healthier. But you can use shortening, you can use canola oil, which is what I'm using. And I've got 3/4 cup. I'm gonna put that in there. And now you're gonna need 4 eggs. Cracked 4 eggs here, and I took the glaze out of them. And if you're wondering what the glaze is, it's the little white stringy piece attached to the yolk. And I like to take them out of my baked goods, especially if they're dark, like chocolate or this carrot cake. They don't blend in with your cake mixes. And you don't want your guest or your company to find that in your baked goods. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to find it either. Just gonna add some coconut pecan frosting. And this is so easy. I love easy, especially when you're in a hurry. Now, if you've got time in the kitchen, and like this morning, and nobody's bothering me, I'm really enjoying this. It's really, really enjoyable and relaxing to listen to music and just cook and take your time. I'm just gonna mix this really good. Now, you can break out your blender if you want to, your mixer, but I personally just always mix my cake mixes by hand. I'm old school. I mean, back in the day, they didn't have all those fancy gadgets. And you do have to use your muscles, and the rule of thumb, I believe, used to be like 50 strokes. I don't count them, I just mix it. Okay, I think I got my 50 strokes in. Maybe just a little bit more. Are you guys doing okay? Are you doing okay? I hope so. I am having a much better morning. I've had a kind of a rough week, but I'm not gonna complain about that. All in all, it was a wonderful week. But I do know that there are people out there who are struggling or who are going through things that I can't even imagine. So if you're out there and you're one of them, my heart goes out to you. And just pray, just give it to God, give it to God. We have all been there at some point down in our lives, and you just have to get on your knees and pray. God moves mountains, He really does. Now I'm going to put this in a bundt pan, and I went ahead and I oiled this and I floured it, and we're just gonna pour this in. And I'll turn it around where you can see. Okay guys, we're gonna pop this in the oven on 350 degrees for about 50 minutes.
And voila, about an hour and a half later, after I let it cool off, and then I took it out of my bundt pan and put it on my cake plate. And we're not finished yet. We are gonna make some cream cheese glaze to go on top of this. I mean, you can't have carrot cake unless you have a little cream cheese glaze or icing. So I started off with a half a block of cream cheese that I actually needed to utilize, so this worked perfect. I added 1/4 cup of melted unsalted butter, and you can break out your mixer for this if you want to, but honestly, you don't need it. We're not making a whole lot, a huge batch. This is just enough to coat the top of this bundt cake. Once you've got your cream cheese blended in with the butter, go ahead and add a splash of vanilla, and that's anywhere from 1 to 2 teaspoons. Just go ahead and blend that in, and now we're going to add about 3/4 cup of confectionate sugar. And we're going to need some milk, so grab the milk. I'm just using 2% here. You just use what you've got, and I'm just guessing. I'm starting off with just maybe a few teaspoons, and that's not going to cut it. So I'm going to add a little bit more. Now you're probably wondering, how much did I add? I really honestly cannot tell you. You're just going to keep adding it teaspoon by teaspoon till you get it to the consistency that you want, basically. And this looks good, but it's still a little thick, and I don't want to add more milk to it. So what I did is I popped it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. And we're just going to put this on top of that bundt cake. Now, if I'd got it a little bit thinner, it might have run down the bundt cake. But guys, this is a glaze, so it was so easy to work with, and I love that. I just wanted it just a little bit on top. I didn't get real fancy with this because I'm not taking it anywhere. We're just going to eat it. And it looks like a big old donut, doesn't it? Adding the frosting to the cake mix just makes it so moist and brings on this whole new flavor. This cake was so good. My husband liked this better than the butter pecan cake, but the butter pecan was my favorite. But both cakes are so amazing and so moist, it just melts in your mouth.